So, let me tell you about my dream that I had. Must have been a few hours ago, whenever, sometime last night, early this morning. I was with some friends, maybe kind of, and there was a group of people, and they were talking, and they were trying to solve some kind of maze. And they were talking about it, and they didn't fully understand it, but just they were trying to understand it. And they invited me if I wanted to kind of peek my head in through the door and see if I wanted to solve the maze. And so I said, sure, sounds harmless. What's the big deal? Um, so I poked I opened this door, whatever, and started looking inside. And I was thinking, I wonder, if this maze takes 10 minutes to solve or what this is about. Um, and I looked in and it was vast. I couldn't tell at that moment, but maybe there was thousands of acres and maybe more, maybe many different things to explore. And I thought, oh, maybe I should come back. Maybe I should get a backpack with some food. Maybe this is an all day type of thing. And I was just wondering, and there was kind of people scattered here and there everywhere, outside of the door, inside. And so I was talking to people and asking their opinion. How big is this? How much food should I bring if I want to solve this? And no one really seemed to know any of the answers of how big it was, or even it was starting, the more people I talked to, it was starting to become unclear what the purpose of this maze was, or what the real goal was, what you really were trying to solve when you went inside. And that somehow sparked my curiosity more. So I thought I'll go even deeper in and get a good sense, and then maybe come back out and get the proper food that's needed or whatever, and then really try to solve this. And so I went deeper in, and I started realizing there was houses, there was people who'd been living in these houses for quite a long period of time. Uh, there was people who had started to forget that this was something to be solved, and they were just living there, living their lives, enjoying. And if you would mention the maze or the fact that there was something, a riddle to be solved here, they would kind of generally remember, yeah, that's right, but it's a difficult thing, and so we're going slowly at it. Um and then someone offered me food, invited me into his house, said, here, I'm happy to share whatever food I can whenever. You're always welcome here. And then in my mind, okay, the food question was solved, that I could go into this. And anyways, this thing just got deeper and deeper. And as I started waking up, I was still questioning this maze and how it is built. I was wondering who financed this, who financed all of these houses, uh, just kind of how does this whole thing work? And I started realizing as I was waking up that the whole thing was just, it was really, it wasn't as real as it seemed, that it was built out of mind, and that each person was contributing to the maze and helping build it their own selves by their own desires and their own dreams, and that the maze was essentially built out of mind and out of people's dreams. And as I was waking up, I realized, wait, that's what this place here is on this physical earth that we live in. That it's a riddle for us to solve, the purpose of our existence. And how did we get into this mess? And how do we get out? Um, and so many people have different fears, but we don't need to have any of those fears. That we have to realize that this is a dream that we're living in, and that it is built up on our own desires. It is our own dream, and that we need to wake up from it. And the way to wake up is to uh, try to have no more desires. And that's a very difficult thing to do. But we can begin uh, take the desires that we have and have higher desires and continually offer those desires to God for refinement until we can get to a state where we only have one desire, which is God alone. Um, anyways, it was just a very fascinating dream, and it does tie into our topic here today about environment, because in that dream, before you had gone into that door, you knew that there was something to solve. And then once you go into it, it just you got caught up in other people's dreams, and this is the importance of environment, that all of us are dreaming, but some people are dreaming very good dreams. Some people are very happy, that they are successful, that they're peaceful, that whatever they look at around them, it turns into something good. And other people are really living nightmares here on planet Earth. And we get the choice. And it doesn't seem like we have the choice, but we do, of what kind of dream that we want to live. But if we are associating with people who are dreaming a nightmare, we also in time begin to have a nightmare. And if we are associating with people who are living a beautiful dream, then we can have that. Ultimately, all of us here this morning gathered together that we want to escape the dream, that we want God realization. It is imperative then that we associate with other people who want God realization. And this becomes a very subtle thing, and we're living at the beginning of Dwapara Yuga, where there's all of these influences. And really, with the power of the internet, we can live in all kinds of different worlds on the internet. But these definitely have an impact on our consciousness. That if we were watching negative movies, violent movies, if we're caught up in all of the news these days, about all the violence going on this planet, it's very difficult then to just shift. Oh, now I'm just going to be peaceful and I'll just sit here and meditate for hours and hours and not think about that stuff. And it doesn't mean I'm not telling us to put our heads like this in the sand, like an ostrich that thinks that it's running away from its predators. We need to be aware of what's going on. But the question becomes, how much caught up into it do we become? And how much power do we have to change these situations? That each individual human being, we have our own karma, and then there's mass karma. And we're trying really just to gain the power to overcome our own individual karma. And that's a big enough job. If we can associate with others who have good karma, we can create little pockets of groups of people that have good karma, and that is important. That is the power of community, which I will talk about later this morning. Um, but really, you see, we watch the news or certain things on the internet, and it stirs up our emotions so much. Oh, this is that side and this side, and that person's so wrong. And when our emotions get stirred up like that, then we can't meditate deeply. And then we wonder, well, oh, why can't I Oh, well, I'll just do 5 minutes today, and then I'll do more tomorrow. And that adds up. Um, and here's something like, let me just take YouTube, for example. That's a great tool. That if you want to use it as a tool, you can decide that you're going to go into that door that I was talking about in my dream. You can open that door and you can go into it for very specific things. You can decide I'm going to watch Swamiji for 15 minutes every day, or I'm going to whatever, watch Ananda Worldwide and watch different ministers give different lectures. Fine. And you go in and then you need to come back out and close that door. But if you just go in for entertainment, well, I'll just see what fun is going on in the world and find something. Definitely you will get lost. Definitely. And then hours later, you can be swimming around in YouTube watching God knows what. And it's Maya, 100%. That it feels that it's going to give you some uplifting thing that you'll watch and you'll feel joyful and I'll learn something. Yet you come out of that and you don't feel good. You don't feel like meditating. And so we have to be very careful how we use these tools. They're very powerful and they can be used for good, or they can pull us down and suck us into a dream world that is not fun and that is not working. Um, I mean, we're online right now. All of you here are part of the online community. I do so much online work. It's important. It has a great power. Um, that is environment also, and we need to use this tool to uplift ourselves. But we also do need to strive to come together and working on putting longer in-person retreat together. And we need to figure out ways we can come together for long periods of time. I'm hoping to work with a group that works with Jyotishji Daviji for them to do an SRW, a spiritual renewal week here in India, where we can spend a week with them. And we have to come together in person, that ultimately we are magnets. And when you bring together different magnets, they change each other, they magnetize each other, and we need to do that in person. And when we go out into the world, when we leave our little homes and go out, and we have to, um, we need to be very careful who are we associating with. Um, Listen, that in the West, people shake hands with one another. That creates a bar, sorry, a horseshoe magnet, one with your upper chakras and the other person's upper chakras. And it doesn't matter who's nice, who, whatever, what country they're from, none of that matters. If when you shake hands like that, the other person has more magnetism, it will influence your upper three chakras if they have more magnetism than you. If you have more stronger magnetism than them, you will influence their upper three chakras. And the same for the lower three chakras. That connection in the hand is making one arm in your lower three chakras of that horseshoe magnet and one arm in their lower three chakras. And again, it doesn't matter who has a sweet voice or whatever, this color hair or not accent, that doesn't matter. It's who has stronger energy in those three chakras and therefore more magnetism will change the other person. And magnetism is extremely subtle. Music conveys magnetism in a very subtle way, but it becomes very powerful. And if we want to stay uplifted, if we want to be joyful, if we want to meditate all of the time, that we need to learn how magnetism works. We need to understand the power of environment on a subtle level. And then we need to do everything we can. Once I met a person with two bangles, and she said, "This is my spiritual armor. That this is a battle." And it is. To approach it that way every day just can be draining. But it is that we have to pay attention all of the time to our thoughts, to our emotions. However, when we are with powerful, uplifted company, then we don't have to approach life like a battle every single moment, every single day. We then are automatically uplifted and joyful, and things just seem to go right. They seem to go well. But when we're with people with a negative consciousness, they will magnetically draw situations to themselves that don't go well. All kinds of problem consciousness. So live with a solution consciousness and help. Also, this is an important story about handshaking. Swamiji lived with Master, obviously, and Master asked him to go shake hands with everyone who came into the temple. And Swamiji had been studying Master's teachings, and he knew that now he was going to be magnetically exchanging energy with all of these different people. Whatever, exchanging energy, exchanging magnetism. So he was like a little scared of that. And afterwards, he felt very drained. And he said to Master, "Master, please don't ask me to do that ever again. I feel so drained by exchanging magnetism with all of those people." And Master said, "That's because you're thinking about yourself. Go do it again next Sunday. And this time think that you are a channel for God. And each person that you shake hands with, feel that God through you is giving them energy." And so he did that again, and he felt very uplifted. afterwards. So, number one here, you decide consciously that you are going to become a channel for God in every circumstance, and then that's very good. And then number two, become more conscious of what you are receiving and how you are receiving it. Um, and I'm talking about consciousness here. I'm not just talking about that you signed up for some class on weaving and you're learning something on the internet. Very good. Do something like that. It's fine. However, pay attention. What is that instructor's consciousness like? It's not just that you're learning weaving. That instructor might weave into the conversation some negative things. Oh, this world's so terrible. Oh, these people around me are always yelling at me, and oh, wow, wow, it's terrible. Or that instructor, listen to people's voices. Some people's voices are so soothing. You just feel good. You don't care what they talk about. They could be talking about auto mechanics or weaving or whatever, but they just make you feel good. And other people, they could be talking God, 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 but their voice is not soothing and it makes you feel terrible afterwards. Pay attention to the subtle power of environment, the magnetism in people. And if we're around people who are not soothing it, it pulls us down. And here's another important point that I want to make this morning. Even if you do get pulled down, it's all right. Last night I said it in a thought song that if you get pulled way down and your karma's beating you down, you could say, oh, this is so terrible. This is stronger than me. Or you can say, just look how much karma I'm working out. Isn't it wonderful? I'm working out all of my karma. And know that karma is finite. And here's the thing. If you make the decision, I'm going to get up anyways and try again, it's in that decision to try again that eventually you will overcome all of your karma. All karmite, that's not a word. All karma is finite. And it's that decision to get up and try again. But that takes strength. And it is God, through the power of a guru, through the power of your guru bhais, and the spiritual environment that gives you that strength to come up again. And it's possible, I see some faces on screen here, or at least one who met Swamiji, but as time goes on, there's less and less people who actually met Swamiji in person. Last night I had a dream about Swamiji. He was guiding me on how to do very specific mudras. Um, and I'm not going to go into it deeper. I feel it's too personal with my connection with Swamiji. But the point of that is he's there right here for you right now. He will come and he will guide you in many different ways. Read his books. That again is the power of environment. Uh, Listen to him, listen to his soothing voice, listen to his music. He said, if you want to get to know who I truly am, not just the outside facade of this body or whatever, who I truly am. Listen to my music. This is all environment, and the choice is in your hands. Or you can listen to worldly music with a heavy beat, and that has a heavy vibration that pulls your energy down into the lower chakras. Pay attention to Swamiji's music. It's light. It doesn't usually have a heavy beat, and it will put your energy in the higher three chakras. It will uplift you. Sometimes I find if I'm in a little bit of a mood, Swamiji's music's too happy. I'm like, I can't listen to that. It's too happy. But then I'll find something of Swamiji's that's more inward, just has a different vibration. And go into Swamiji's music that deeply. Find all of the different vibrations that he is communicating via music and use that to uplift yourself. And then I'm going to advocate it. It is important for us to come together in person. And ultimately, it's important for us to figure out how we can build spiritual in-person communities. We have to think about where is this all going? And okay, we're doing things online together. But then those who can should, well, even that, I help build meditation groups that just come out of people online. But then those people need to come together and meditate in person together once a week or once a fortnight, whatever it is. And then out of those, hopefully we build, and not always, and it's okay, but if we can, the ones that get more and more energy moving in them, we build centers. We need to go to these centers. We need to visit them. We need to give our energy to them. And then we will find that the Guru Bhais there are giving their energy to us and helping uplift us. It's not enough to just sit in our houses and stay online only. That we and I realize that everyone has different situations. Uh, but the other day I missed my train going to Delhi, and I had to ride the general class and stood for 4 hours on the train to Delhi, and I think the ticket cost 40 or 50 rupees or whatever. The point of that story is there's no excuse. We love to make excuses. Oh, but I can't afford it. Okay, you can stand in the general class on the train. You can afford it. And find some center that you resonate with. It's fine. There's many different ones. It's fine. And spend time with people in person. But then where is that all going? Towards community. That in time we need to figure out how our centers can turn into communities. They already are in some regard. And I will take a very open understanding of the word community. Um, but we have to live together in some way and give to each other, work out our problems with one another. Uh, it's a very quick way to grow spiritually, and it's a way that works. We all have all these little problems inside, and if we just sit in our houses all day long and don't talk with one another or don't try to accomplish projects together for God in Master's name, we don't even know that we have these samskars. But when we get out there and we work together in person, then we always have to turn back. Oh, seems like that guy is the problem. But we have to turn it back. No, no. How can I be more clean on the inside? How can I have less of a personality so that that other person's personality has nothing to even affect here? Um, I always get confused between affect and effect, but we won't go into those grammatical things today. But you get the point of that, that it gives us a place where we can really see who we truly are. Um, it's very easy to think of ourselves, yeah, I'm a very patient person. But we need to put ourselves also in the opportunities where we can be tested and see and still be a patient person. Um, I don't know how many of you were at the satsang I gave last night, so this is being repeated again. But I was at the airport and one lady, she came with a very crafty solution on how to cut the queue. And so she took her little daughter, maybe, I don't know, 7, 8 years old or something, and told her to cut in the middle of the queue and then just stand there for 5 minutes. And of course, some little girl just standing in front of you, you're not going to say anything. It's okay. And then 5, 10 minutes later, the mother cut in. And one guy behind me, he just lost it. He was like, "We all saw you. This is wrong. What are you teaching your daughter? You're a terrible human being. You're ruining our country." And everybody else in line started, "Yes, you're the worst human being." And I mean, the whole line, you could feel this anger just going through everyone, which, by the way, when there's wars going on in other places in the world, that energy is there and we can channel that right into the line at the airport. Or and anyways, eventually I had to just turn around and say, "Hey, I get your point, and it's right. We shouldn't cut the queue, but we also have to keep the peace here, in this environment." And eventually I got him to settle down, and the whole queue settled down. But there's it's just environments everywhere, and we need to be channels for peace. Oh, here's the important point though, that because I thought about that a lot. Why didn't I speak up about that? And here's the thing. If you can stay perfectly calm on the inside, and you feel that God wants you to be the channel for that correction, go ahead, speak up when wrong things happen in this world. But if you're going to speak up the way the guy behind me did, completely lose control of your emotions, make everybody else get angry and almost start a riot at the airport, then better not speak up. It's okay. You can just say, God, I see a wrong in this world, but I don't think I have enough control over my emotions at this point in order to say something. And that gives me, all of us, very good guidelines on when to speak, when not to speak. That again, we want to be putting into the environment peace, positivity, joy, success, all of that. By the way, one of my favorite super conscious living exercises, I am positive, energetic, enthusiastic. I love that one. This is the kind of energy that we want to be putting out, and then that will come back to us as well. Swamiji would smile at many people in the world. And he said by the end of his life, due to that karma that he had created, he just found the world, figuratively and literally, smiling at him. But that many people would come up and just smile and not even say anything, but just give that kind energy to him. So Swamiji Master has given us a huge job to all figure out how we can come together in little pockets of groups of happy people living for God. And let's all keep that as an ideal and figure out how we can work together to uphold this very important ideal in this moment in the world's history. Swamiji said that he felt that Ananda was one of the most important things happening on this planet, not only spiritually, but also on a social scene. That, and I do feel that communities are going to come up where intentional communities, where we can live together much more harmoniously. If we have to build communities into the cities, fine. But I hope we can get a few rural ones going where we can really have our own energy. It makes a big, big difference. And until we get to that state, uh, just pay attention to what you do online, what kind of music you listen to, what friends you associate with, how you navigate the family scene that you have to live in and go to and all of that. And just pay attention to your own energy and then just decide if life gets hard, you're going to get up and try again anyways. And just remember the purpose of all of this. Don't get caught in the dream. Don't open that door into Maya and think, well, yeah, I'll go solve this thing. You'll never solve it with your intellect. You'll solve it with true understanding, with the power of the guru, with master's grace, and with a deep calmness born of meditation in your own self, with really, literally calming the breath, calming the mind, and remembering who you truly are and that this is only just a dream. So keep moving, keep moving. Let's all keep moving together and um, keep moving in a conscious way. And, once Master said, even if we are all thrown in jail, and that's what this world in some ways is, that if enough of us are thrown together in the same jail, we can transform it. And we will transform this world, but we can only do so much. So let's do our little part, but let's not forget that we have to transform ourselves. Thank you all for joining this morning. It's been wonderful being together. I look forward to spending time more online and in person together. Let's close with another healing prayer for the world. So let's visualize this entire planet, even the negative things that are going on. Visualize a light behind all of that, that God knows what he's doing and that she will transform this world for the better. And visualize a light also that is stronger than the negativity that's going on this planet, and a light coming in to transform all of those who want God's help. Let's pray together. Divine Mother, thou art omnipresent. Thou art in all thy children. Manifest thy healing presence in all bodies, all minds, and all souls. And let's see that we are channels for Master's light and that he will transform this world. He is giving light and energy to love everyone. And let's send out these blessings with three homes. Om.